a parallel universe, Hyrule is inhabited by the Mushroom Kingdom's various creatures. There are 9 grand stars that are being held by all the kings of different species. This keeps the balance between nature and Hyrule, but one unfortunate day Bowser gets a hold of the Black Grand Star. With its power, he started attacking parts of the outside regions, and the leadership has gotten worried that he is going to take over all of Hyrule if no one could oppose him. Peach came up with a plan to send Mario on a search through all of Hyrule and into the future in order to prepare him to be able to face off with Bowser. She sends out a toad with a message for Mario, and here our story begins. Hope you enjoy this crossover crafted with love and joy. So today we are playing Super Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, which is a ROM hack by Kaze Emanuar, who is honestly just one of the greatest artists of our time. He has produced so many brilliant ROM hacks. I recommend looking up his work. Every single one is so much fun. And this is no exception. I was actually very surprised at how long this game ended up being. It's got 171 stars, and while there aren't any levels in the grand sense of things, there are still all of the dungeons that you would find in The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. But we're not playing Zelda, we're playing Mario. And this isn't really Hyrule. I mean, it is, but it's within the Mushroom Kingdom universe. There's no Ganon. There's only Bowser. There's no Zelda. There's only Peach. So we've collected our coins, we purchased some magic, and making our way into the Great Deku Tree. So you'll notice that each dungeon is it keeps the same theme as Zelda, and what you want to do is you want to solve the puzzles, but all of the puzzles have been replaced with mechanics from Super Mario 64, along with some additional things created by Kaze himself. And there's also a whole bunch of new power-ups and mechanics that are brand new. If you've never played a ROM hack before, some of them will definitely surprise you. But we'll get to that when we get to that. We're only 4 minutes in right now, and there's a lot of gameplay to go. So I didn't want to just play the first 30 minutes of the game and leave everybody hanging as to what happens next and whatever. It's not like Animal Crossing where the game never really ends. I mean, I guess Harvest Moon ends, but it just takes forever. But I spent probably somewhere around 15 hours or so playing this to the end. I did not collect all 171 stars, so you're not going to see me spending a whole heck of a lot of time getting stars that really aren't either convenient or necessary to the story. Having said that, I do collect quite a few. Well, you'll see. So I edited this entire thing down to about an hour and 20 minutes, and you're gonna see a lot of cuts like that one, just going through some unnecessary parts that I didn't really think were that necessary for you guys to watch. There are plenty of stars that I don't show, and a lot of exploring and stuff like that I cut out. But what I wanted to do was there's something about these big stars. The depth perception is very difficult to understand. I can never figure out exactly where the center of them are. Anyway, yeah, I didn't want to waste a whole lot of time just watching Mario sort of trying to figure out different aspects to a puzzle or something. It just felt like a waste of your time, and so I edited it all out. Unfortunately, playing this for 15 hours or so, I wasn't able to stay at the same computer the whole time. So I actually used my Microsoft Surface to record some of the gameplay, and that was a big mistake because it ended up overheating, and we lost probably about an hour or two of gameplay. I'll point it out when we get there, but just know that there's a little bit missing to the story, but it's not that much. You're gonna get pretty much the full experience here. As you can see, we just we went through Kokiri Forest and the Lone Ranch there, making our way up to Kakariko Village, where instead of collecting chickens, now we're going to collect baby mips. A whole bunch of baby mips on the loose. Mipses, baby mipses. So I'm using my magic to get through the fence there. I know we just went through the Deku tree, but I didn't mention when we opened up the chest to get the Vanish Cap, but we have the Vanish Cap now, and I just pressed down on the D-pad to use it, and we can walk through some objects, making our way to the top. So here's an example of a star that I really didn't need to get, but some of them are just fun. one of the cool things about this game is that most of the world is already loaded. So when you enter different areas, you don't have to load the graveyard or stuff like that. Obviously, when you're changing areas like this, there's a little bit of time, but I really enjoyed how open this game felt. It was very true to the original Zelda game. So here is one of the biggest gaps that we're going to be jumping through today. So we are actually in the cavern right now. I want to say Dogon's Cavern. It's something like that. But we missed a little bit of time that I spent on Death Mountain in Goron City, where instead of Gorons, it's full of pink Bob-ombs, and the leader of the pink Bob-ombs asks me to go and find one of their lost guards who gets lost in the Lost Woods. And you go to the Lost Woods, and he's there surrounded by the black Bob-ombs who have decided to gang up on him. And I really love some of the puzzles in this game are inspired by the puzzles in Zelda. There are flower bombs that you need to make blow up to get up this staircase, and instead of flower bombs, you just use these black bombs. Anyway, so we go to the Lost Woods to get the pink bomb. We rescue him and go back to Goron City. And the pink bomb leader. Here we go. The bomb diffuser. Wait till you see this. This is great. You can actually now grab bombs and store them for later, and whenever there's like a rock or something you want to blow up, or a wall that you want to blow up, you can just yank out the bomb like that, and then here we go. We're tossing the bombs into the eyes of the skull here. It looks like there's a life on this side, so we're gonna try again on the other side anyway. So we saved the pink guy. We go back to the bomb leader. He tells us that we're allowed to use his cannons now that we saved the guard, and we're in the caverns here to retrieve one of the grand stars. So you can also tell that time has passed based off of how many stars that I've collected since we skipped time there. There were quite a few stars along the way in those areas. But that's going to happen a lot. There were plenty of stars that just seemed like a waste of time to show you guys. Having said that, though, each star is very clever in where it's placed, and the entire game is just a blast. You know, if you're a fan of Super Mario 64 and you're a fan of The Legend of Zelda, I can't tell you how satisfying this game is to play. Did I kick a little too early there? So, this jump here, the king of the bomb-oms is hucking some bombs at us. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna kick him back at him. But he's hogging one of the grand stars, so we need to get that back in order to make our way into Bowser's castle. And there we go. It's that depth again. I just cannot seem to figure it out. So I guess what we also missed was when we went to visit Peach in Hyrule Castle. That was before we made it to Goron City. We need Peach's permission to make it up here into Goron City, and so we go and we talk to her first, and she basically tells us that we need to gather the 6 grand stars. So here's the king, the pink bomb-omb king. He's still mentioning that we need to get the guard, but we already got him. It's just, I guess that just doesn't update. Grab that bomb there. Make our way into this. Look at the star hidden in there. So, it's funny because we need to get past all of the pink bomb-omb guards to get to Peach, just like in Zelda. Getting past the guards, and if they see you, they toss you out of the castle. It's even though it's a lot easier to jump around in this game, it was still a little bit difficult. So we're at the top of Death Crater there. And there's a fairy fountain here that actually lets you warp to where you have found other fairy fountains. So we found one under one of the graves here. And now that we have the bombs, we can go down into this grave here. Make our way past all of this sludge, which I almost landed in, and I'm pretty sure you die if you go inside of it. And here we go, the anti-gravity badge. You won't take fall damage anymore, which is really awesome because there are so many moments in this game where fall damage was just such an issue. That was a really funny way to get into Zora's River here. So we're going to make our way up Zora's River. There are a few stars along the way here. We're not going to watch all of them, but there was an red coin star. That was kind of fun. And we're going all the way up till we get to Zora's Domain up here. I was confused about those crates, but you'll see in a minute why they're helpful. So instead of the big fat floopity Zora, we've got Mama Penguin up here instead. I lost my baby, Rudo. Okay, well, at some point we'll make our way back to the river, but I decided to spend some time exploring the domain here. It's a lot of fun looking through these areas. There's a penguin swimming around here. If you go through the rings, it gives you a star. So we'll grab that and talk to this penguin over here. What's up, man? And then, just like in Zelda, we can use the warp here to make our way to Lake Hylia. And look, there's a fish with a star. And down there you can see the water temple is blocked by the eel. Grab the star real quick, nice and easy. So this looked interesting to me. There was a bunch of boxes on top of this building here, so I thought to myself, well, I guess we're supposed to climb it. So we make our way up, notice the star over there. Thought to myself, oh geez, how do I get up there? And I had actually not seen this giant button until now. And so we'll press that, and then it gives us some boxes to jump on. We miss, but let's give this another shot. Just a couple wall kicks and we're up. No problem. There's an example of why fall damage being gone is awesome. You can just jump off of things. So we're back in Zora's River here, trying to figure out where Rudo is. I just spot it right over there in the corner. Kind of hidden, but not that bad. I had actually heard her crying before I saw her, so I knew she was around somewhere. We'll get a star from Mama Penguin. Is Jabu Jabu's belly, which when I was a kid, I really, really struggled with this temple in Zelda. This dungeon, I mean. I remember it took me forever to beat it and make my way to the Shadow Temple. So we get to see a little bit of gameplay here in Jabu Jabu's belly, but this is the only other time that my computer started overheating. So we got a little bit of gameplay recorded in here, but it's kind of hard to tell. But you can sort of see the frames skipping around just a bit. I did my best to get rid of everything that was really obnoxious, but I kept some of this so I could explain that the frame rate just started dipping, and then one by one they just all started disappearing until there were only still frames every 5 to 10 seconds. So, unlike Zelda, or actually very similar to Zelda, this dungeon caused me a lot of pain. There was one part in particular that was really just extremely and just very poorly designed. Sorry, Kaze, but it's right up ahead of this part here. There's a box in this area here that you have to grab. You take the box up onto this elevator here. You take the elevator up, and then you make your way into this room ahead where there's a bunch of water on the ground, and there is a button in the water there. Now, that is the end of what I was able to collect from Jabu Jabu's belly, but you take the box and you have to throw it in the water to get onto the switch. And it was just impossible to get perfect. It took me quite a while, and I thought to myself, this can't be what I'm supposed to be doing. And it was one of the only times that I actually had to look up if I was doing it wrong. But no, I was doing it right. I just needed to get the throw right, which was hard. So now you can see we are in the Shadow Temple, the forest temple, forest meadow. I don't know what it's called. It's the forest temple, is what it is. Anyway, we earlier on here, we unlocked the ability to use our hat as a sort of like a shooting mechanic. So when there's a target of some sort, you can actually shoot your hat at it. And later on you'll see towards the end of the game, we use this mechanic to actually shoot our hat onto a scarecrow too, just like in Super Mario Odyssey. So we're just going to take care of some of these ghosts. Grab a star. And so the only thing that we really missed between where the gameplay cut out and here is, do you see that? That was pretty silly. The only thing we missed basically was the end of Jabu Jabu's belly, which we collect one of the third and final of the past grand stars. We take it to the Temple of Time, and then at the Temple of Time we can choose to time travel into the future. And I thought this was cool, using the paintings in the classical Super Mario 64 sense to follow Boo into. Anyway, so we use the Grand Star to go into the future, which is where we are now. And we make our way here to the Forest Temple. I'd say the Forest Temple was a lot of fun. There were a few things that we missed. Here we go, Grand Star number 4. I know I mentioned earlier that there were 6 Grand Stars, but there's actually 9. There are 3 in the past, there's 6 in the future. So we're going to go back through a couple areas that we didn't get to see. One being the Lost Woods here, which is just completely covered in booze. Making it somewhat difficult to navigate through. The only other thing that we missed was upgrading my wallet at the marketplace, which you can see now, instead of being capped at 100 coins, I'm well on my way to having 500. And so now we have made our way to the Water Temple. And once and for all, we have turned off the Microsoft Windows Surface and put it away for good. The rest of the game capture was done on my desktop PC, which is significantly more reliable. So here we are in the Water Temple. At some point, I thought it would be funny to do a roleplay of being lost in the Water Temple. If I ever get into doing that sort of thing. I was having a Twitter conversation with FamCam and ASMR Gaming News the other day, and AGN said that he was going to play Zelda for the first time in a while. I told him if he needed help with the Water Temple to give me a call. The water temple is notorious for being one of the most confusing and difficult dungeons, basically in all of gaming. It's very, very confusing, and without a guide, it's just one of the most treacherous endeavors that you can take on as a Nintendo 64 fanatic. I remember being a kid, and after finally getting through Jabu Jabu's belly, and the forest temple is a breeze after that. So you get through that and you make your way to the water temple, and it's just discouraging, to say the least. And we didn't really have any options on the internet to look up how to navigate this dungeon, at least at the time that at least from what I can remember. There might have been something somewhere, but I didn't take advantage of it. I just remember being 9 or 10 years old at Toys R Us, trying to memorize the guide at in the game section. Since it was like $20, my mom wouldn't buy it for me. And I remember specifically what it was that held me up so long. There was a door that required a small key, and everywhere I looked, there was no key. So eventually I found this missing key in the center elevator, where you have to activate the elevator, and then you have to wait until the panel goes above you, and then jump underneath it to find a hidden chest. And there was just nothing anywhere telling you that that was someplace you were supposed to go. And for me personally, that was where it held me up. I know that there were some other tricky parts, but that was the one that got me. And honestly, this ROM hack is no different. The water temple here took me a good 2 hours of just going up and down, changing the water level, trying to figure out where there was some place that I hadn't been, and right, again, this is the hidden area where the key was that troubled me as a child. But anyway, I had missed this. This water changing dial, which brings the water all the way down, and this red button. So what we need to do here is we need to figure out how we can press a button that's underwater. And it seemed pretty clear to me at the time that we would somehow be unlocking a metal cap. And so right now, that's what I know, that I'm looking for the metal cap. I just don't know exactly where to look. But But as you try different things and as you get to know different areas, you figure out a few different ways that you can maneuver what's around you to unlock places you haven't been. You can see these panels here change every time you jump. Those that play Odyssey are probably very familiar with that mechanic. So that little button can be hard to miss too. And then we get to this room where there's a button on the wall. And a blue box over there, so obviously we have to hit that blue button. The only question is, what's the best way to do it? So we're going to hit that button there. We're going to climb these here. Now we have to time our jumps on this. Almost, not quite. Boom. So I edited that a little bit. It took me, 5 or 6 tries to get perfect. That was not easy. Here we are, just spending all damn day on the water temple. And there we go. Made our way to the metal cap. And from here, I just have to remember how to get back to where I was, where I needed the metal cap. And so I skipped ahead there. It took a couple minutes to get back here. Press the button there, make our way up these boxes. And we get to fight a little mini boss here. So this confused me at first. I thought to myself, what am I supposed to do here? But after a few attempts of ground pounding, it finally finished him off. We press that button and it blows up a box, keeping that piece of wood down. So now we can enter the boss, which is a giant manta ray. This manta ray really took care of business a few times. I constantly kept losing health and needing to jump into the water to regain health, but I figured out just gotta ground pound him, and takes care of business. We'll grab that big star and make our way onward to the bottom of the well. Or I guess we're going to do the fire temple first, which I probably should have done before the water temple. But now we've got the water temple star, which is the water grand star. We've got the forest temple star, which is the forest grand star. We've got the sapphire grand star, which we got inside Jabu Jabu's belly. We've got the ruby grand star, that we got inside of Bomb Cavern. And we've got the Emerald Grand Star that we got inside the DQ tree. So we still need this Fire Grand Star. We need the Shadow Temple Grand Star. And we need the Spirit Temple Grand Star. And then all that leaves us is the Black Grand Star, which is the star that Bowser has. So in order to get the Black Grand Star, we need to defeat Bowser. Easier said than done. So we're going to make our way through the Fire Temple here and talk to all these little cloud guys. Lakitu, I guess. And Lakitu helps us with his cloud. He every time we free a Lakitu, he goes to, there's a whole bunch of them scattered throughout. He goes to an area where we can actually use his clouds to get up to the higher levels of the temple. The Fire Temple had a lot of fun puzzles in it. There was a lot of space. I love the Fire Temple in Zelda. It had just a really cool feel to it, and the puzzles were super interesting. But they weren't exactly headbangers, so they were fun. And they were fun in this game too. So here you can see Lakitu and his cloud are here now to help us up. We'll make our way up and up and up. Push some boxes around. I wasn't sure if you were supposed to use those boxes to get up those ledges there, because it was so easy to just wall kick up the ledges. Almost silly that those boxes were even there. So I tried to pocket that bomb there to save for later, but didn't realize I already had a bomb stashed away, so I just threw them away. Find another Lakitu hidden back here. There's still a few more that we need to rescue. Here we go. One in here. And I know there's at least one more in the next room. But first, I found this puzzle here, which was interesting. You have to use the Vanish Cap to get through the cage, the fence here. So it spawns the star, and then it starts counting down, and you have to use the Vanish Cap to hustle over there before the timer runs out. And I got there just in time. So here we go. One more caged Lakido in here. And now we'll be able to make our way up. So up we go. Up, 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 up. Finally, we get to the top of the mountain. What do we get? Fire flower. This was definitely a satisfying power-up to receive, being able to toss fire. Very classic Mario mechanic. One that you don't see in Super Mario 64. One power-up missing from this game that was in Super Mario 64 that's strangely absent from this game is the wing cap, and I would assume that is because there are just so many stars out in the open area that require height to reach, which you'll see at one point a little later on. There are a few different ways to take gravity out of the equation, but the wing cap is strangely not one of the solutions. And here we go, missing the star again a few times. But there it is, a fire grand star. So now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stars. Still need Shadow Temple Star and Spirit Temple Star, but first what we need to do is head to the bottom of the well to get the truth-seeing lens. We'll just use Metal Cap Mario here. Make our way in. So the truth-seeing lens is a little bit of an annoying tool, which I'll explain at one part where it really, really annoyed me. You really have to be in the correct spot for Mario to be able to see what is hidden. And Sometimes it just doesn't want to work. This is funny, just stuck in the corner there. Instant star. No problem. It is just so much fun to be able to cruise through all of these areas with Mario's movement, especially after getting extremely familiar with the movement, as I have from speedrunning this game for hundreds of hours, if not thousands of hours. It just feels so good to be able to use Mario's movement in a world that I'm familiar with in a different sense that I feel much slower in otherwise. So there we go, true seeing lens, and now we can see things that were hidden. So there were some coffins there that were hidden, give us a staircase up into the entrance, the Shadow Temple. So we'll use a couple different power-ups to get into the Shadow Temple, and here we go. So here I couldn't figure out how to get across this gap, and it was ticking me off. I think, looking back now, I was supposed to use the lens to see possibly some platforms there, and I just didn't. I even used the lens to look down the hall, but I didn't see, nothing showed up. So either I'm wrong and that's not something that's there, or the lens just wasn't working. So earlier we saw the door with a weird symbol on it. It was a symbol for that guy. Hover shoes. This was my favorite power up to unlock the hover shoes. Being able to long jump huge distances is just like so satisfying. So as you can see, we really start powering through some of these puzzles here. It took longer than I'm willing to admit to get through some of these things. I didn't start using save states until the very end of the game, where I just wanted to finally finish Bowser off. So I use a couple save states in the Spirit Temple, where there was a very odd area that there was a power up that, yeah, we'll see it. And then I used a save state to fight Bowser. But it got to the point in this temple here that I died quite a few times. It took me, so right there, if you use the truth-seeing lens, there are platforms that show up sort of where that broken column is. I got on top of the column, I went into first-person mode, didn't see any platforms at all. I actually ended up long jumping off the column and using the hover boots to get across, which I can promise you that is That is not the way it felt. It felt very lucky that I made it across that way. Oh, we've got enough stars here to unlock the wall slide, which I don't think I used this mechanic at all. It's super helpful, but it's just not something that I took advantage of ever. So, done with the Shadow Temple. We got that Shadow Grand Star after the Thwomp King got murdered by that giant bullet. And we're going to make our way back into the past to head to the Gerudo's training ground, where we need to make breakfast for a Goomba. And you might be saying to yourself, why do we need to make breakfast for a Goomba? Here we go. Magic Regenerator, huge. Collecting magic was a real pain in the rear. What sucks about the Magic Regenerator, though, is it regenerates so slow. It's nearly worthless. Like, it's nice over a long period of time when you just finish with a boss or something, but when you need it, it ain't regenerating anytime soon. So here we are, Gerudo Training Ground. Which I did do, and it unlocks the ice flower, so you can shoot ice fire instead of just regular fire. But I cut that out. It was kind of just like a whole bunch of little puzzles, little trials that I didn't think was that necessary in contributing to this main story here. So instead of Gerudos, we've got Goombas. I guess it's a play on words. Goombas, Gerudos. I mean, they're thieves, though. They're not Gerudos. I don't really know what the name refers to. So I need to get our friend's shell back from this vulture, and we need to make breakfast for a Goomba. There's nobody in the jail right now, which makes me think, well, I guess there's going to be somebody in the jail later. So we've got our shell. I'm going to deliver this puppy back to our friend here. Nice and easy. And oh yeah, I'll talk to this guy. We smash the ground a few times and he goes all the way up and grabs a star for us. So then we make our way around the grounds here, and there's a bunch of mushrooms and flowers and stuff that you can actually collect. You can see sort of one or two of them in the background there, but I might have cut out collecting them while I was editing. But we bring the little guy back to his parents up here, and finally we come down here. Our cook is gone. Our son needs his soup. He needs mushrooms and flowers. Would you be willing to help? So we collect collected the mushrooms, we light the fire, which I was proud of myself, figuring out that we needed to light the fire there. And then we put the food into this vat here, and he gives you a star. So the Goomba has been fed, and now we need to make our way. A little free star there. So anyway, we need to make our way back to the future. And you can see why we needed to go through that entire mess of making a Goomba his oatmeal. So we did a little bit of a warp there, using one of the fairy fountains. And the whole fortress here is guarded with black bomb-ombs, so you have to avoid them, make your way up to the jail. And is that you that made my soup 70 years ago? I'll do anything for my buddy. So it's the kid that we made the soup for. He gives us a star, and he opens up the gate. And we have to make our way across the haunted wasteland here to the Spirit Temple. Where we have one more grand star waiting for us. Follow the different posts, and gives you a pathway to an opening in the mountains to get through the wasteland. And this temple was excruciating. Kaze decided to design these balls that you have to smack into a certain place on the level where they can join into one of those creatures, and the creatures reach up to press buttons. But anyway, these balls have minds of their own and refuse to cooperate. And it was painstaking getting them where they needed to go. These ones right here were easy. They've got the same sort of physical properties as balloons. And here is where I used to save state. Now look at this. After you hit the box there, the camera goes all wonky. The controls were backwards, trying to control the shell. And it doesn't even unlock the thing until you get back here. And it's nothing even special. It's just something called a spin. The spin gloves. That after you do a ground pound, if you press A, you'll jump up and spin, which is only helpful really to get to the exit of the level. So this took a while because I didn't realize you're supposed to use Metal Mario to smash his back. So I spent maybe 10 minutes just smashing him relentlessly until I realized, well, why don't I try using Metal Mario? And it worked almost immediately. thinking that it was vital to the story. I guess it did open up this area here, so never mind. So, after having an excruciating time smacking all of those balloon style spike balls, this boss was surprisingly really easy. It's just a Koopa, and you just have to smack him a few times and avoid his shells. And there we go. The Spirit Grand Star. So we've collected 8 Grand Stars. Time to make our way to Bowser's Castle. So in the castle, like a few other different areas in the game, you need to collect a few stars from a series of trials that rely on the different power-ups that you've received in different sections of the game. So you go through each one of these little dungeon rooms, and there's a little trial. Here we use the Vanish Cap. Get through. Then we use the hover boots and Metal Mario so that we don't get pushed off by the wind here. And you collect these silver stars and it unlocks a gold star. And so we have to do this in a few different areas, all with different themes. This one was surprisingly easy. Just have to exterminate a few bugs and a few bats. Just like that, there's a star. So I don't know if a lot of people take advantage of the fact that Metal Mario cannot be burned, but I thought it was extremely helpful for this puzzle here, which instead of having to try and maneuver across all of those platforms that flip up and down all the time, I just used the hover boots in Metal Mario and it was that easy. So here we have to use the truth seeing lens. Took me a minute to figure that out, but obvious when you really think about it. So the one area in the game that I did not bother visiting is the ice cavern. I was just never prompted to go there, and I didn't need to in order to beat the game. Apparently there's some sort of upgrade called the life trade that's in the ice cavern, but I don't know what that is. Or what it's useful for, so I can't elaborate, but maybe at some point I'll go back and figure it out, or somebody in the comments, do everybody a favor and let us know what's up. So we have collected all of the stars. We're going to BLJ up to Bowser. Just kidding. No BLJs. These stairs are far too wide for BLJing. And if you don't know what a BLJ is, you should watch some of my 16-star speedrun videos, which are extremely entertaining if you're not familiar with speedrunning. And then you'll learn all about BLJs. So here we go, throwing in a little save state here so we don't have to climb those stairs again, which took forever. We're going to fight Bowser. We're going to fight little mini Bowsers first. His children. I'm going to throw them into these bombs. Which is hilarious. So there were 4 of these little guys in total. I just pick them up, toss them into the bombs, and then Bowser comes out and he goes, "Alright, I'm gonna mess you up." This was really hard. He runs at you pretty fast and doesn't stay on the ground long after he smacks into the wall. So best way I decided to defend against him was using Metal Cap. And I got lucky here, because he turned around and just went right into the wall again and then somehow bumped into me. And then I thought, yes, nice, the game's over. But Bowser goes, "Good luck beating me in the past when I'm stronger and more powerful." So I'm like, alright, so I gotta leave the castle now. We're gonna hightail it out of here. I didn't stop to check if these bombs hurt me if I sit still. I just full speed jump dived my way down the 55 miles of stairs. For some reason it hucks another star at you here. Not really sure what that's all about, but whatever. We are going to make our way back to the Temple of Time. Go back into the past for the final time. There's a pink bomb here that wasn't here before, and he goes, "Peach is waiting for you." So, make our way back to the castle. And there's Peach. She says, "Mario, you've got the grand stars, but Bowser's in that pipe. He's young and strong. He still has the black star. Get in there." And here we are, the final showdown. And he balloons himself up into this massive Bowser. And I thought to myself, oh great. So, fire, surprisingly really easy to avoid. And then he throws this shell at you, which I thought to myself, alright, let's just hit that back at him, kind of like the Bomb Cavern boss. And that worked. So I said to myself, alright, that doesn't seem too hard. Well, he keeps throwing these shells, and each time you hit him with one, he throws them more often, and they get much, much faster. Here's the final product of what we're looking at there. We make our way up to the cannon. That's all she wrote. So there's the final Grand Star in the bag. Finished the game with 96 stars. Pops you back out, and Peach says, "You won, Hyrule is saved. Thank you, Mario. We'll celebrate at the castle later. Come join." And that's it. That is the game made by Kaze Emanuar. Thanks for playing. And I want to thank all of you for watching. I appreciate you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed this. Leave a comment, like the video, and please subscribe. I would very much appreciate all of my fans out there, anybody watching, especially if you're still watching now. Please hit that subscribe button. And I got a lot of great stuff in the pipeline, so I hope you're looking forward to some more content soon. Alright, everybody. Good night.